Good day, everyone, and welcome to Home at the Hollow, and welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas Cookies. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's cookie recipe is for a chewy, moist, tender coconut cookie. Oh my goodness. They are delicious. So if you are interested in a recipe that will incorporate coconut into your cookie repertoire, then keep on watching. So the first thing that you want to do when you start making these particular coconut cookies is to toast your coconut. I've set my oven at 325. I'm going to watch it extremely carefully. Coconut just goes brown really super quick. I made sure that I've kind of made sure that there was no strays going along, simply because I've done that before, and if it gets too thin, like going to along your edges, they are going to brown first. So I'm trying to get it as uniform as I can, but these absolutely need to be toasted and cooled before adding to your cookie dough. And you need 2 cups of sweetened shredded coconut. I've got a little more than 2 cups here because with the holiday weekends happening, I typically have like a brunch over the weekend, and I save a little extra to sprinkle on top of like a fruit salad or maybe some macadamia nut French toast, something like that. And it's very pretty to sprinkle on, and it adds a lot of texture. I have set the timer at 2-minute intervals. 2 minutes just went off, and I gave it a bit of a stir, and we are still waiting for some browning to happening. Set it for another 2 minutes, and we're waiting. So this is at 325 at about 10 minutes. I checked, I think, probably every 2 to 3 minutes and stirred, and I think that might have been, but you can see where along the edges where it absolutely will get over browned if you're not careful. And it still is actually steaming. So we're gonna just let this cool and get started with our dough. So we are about to get started, and I'm going to go over the list of ingredients that we have. I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and I loosened it up a little bit and made sure that it was totally happy. I've got to mix into my flour 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We're going to get all of that in and give it a good stir. I always make sure I look at my baking soda and my cornstarch and make sure there's no big lumps or anything in it like that. So we've got that done. I have 3/4 of a cup of unsalted butter. If you have just salted butter, that's totally fine. Just delete the salt from the flour mixture. I have here 1/2 cup of granulated sugar and 1/4 cup of light brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 egg at room temperature, and 2 cups of shredded toasted coconut. And you can see, excuse me, how really pretty this is. So after you think that everything is great here, I think I'm going to scrape my bowl down and just give it a good look. And it looks really very, very nice. And it sounds good too. When you start to move it around, you can hear that it's creamy instead of gritty. But it looks really good from there. I'm going to add in, if I can, I'm going to add in my egg. And this time, I am definitely going to measure my vanilla extract because I don't want the vanilla to overpower the coconut. I know it's very tempting to want to add like coconut extract. I, myself, this is just my personal preference, I don't like to add like lemon extract, coconut extract, and things like that when I have like a more natural source of the flavor. If I can zest something like a lemon, grapefruit, orange, whatever it is, if I can do it naturally and add a more natural flavor, because sometimes the extracts, you know, and it will overpower your natural ingredients. So that's why in a cookie recipe like this, where I really just want the coconut flavor, I won't add extract. And that looks pretty darn good. I'm going to add my dry ingredients, just a wee bit at a time. I usually, for something like this, I usually use my stand mixer. I'm going to add a wee bit more, just a wee bit more. The very last of it. But you know, if you're tempted to try this recipe, I encourage you to use just vanilla to begin with. And that's coming together very, very nicely. Very, very nicely. I'm going to give it a bit of a scrape and let's see what it really, really looks like. And that looks so nice. I think that looks so nice, guys. Make sure I get every last bit of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my coconut on very, very low. I don't want to, I know it sounds kind of dramatic. I don't want to really like damage the coconut, as unusual as that sounds. Just on very, very low, just, you know, just until I just love coconut. And since my dad is gone, I actually, every single year, I used to make him a coconut cake for his birthday. Well, he's been gone a while, and so now, on my birthday, I make myself a coconut cake. I love it so much. So I have coconut cake maybe once a year. And the very last of it, this is going to be just an incredibly chewy, soft and chewy cookie. And it really will put your mixer. This is a pretty good dough. See if I can get the last bits of this off without spraying everything. I don't think it's going to want to come. That's okay. We can get that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap, and then I am going to set it in the fridge for 30 minutes. 30 minutes before I start working with the dough. So guys, for me, I've got these all formed up. And for me and my cookie scoop, and you've seen my cookie scoop, this makes 27. If you want to make them larger or smaller, but 27 for me, they are going to go in the fridge for 30 minutes, and we will bake a few off and go from there. So as you guys can probably hear, my oven is totally preheated. I actually allowed these to chill about 2 hours in the fridge. 30 minutes is a total minimum. Overnight is better, but 350, I'm going to start at 10 minutes and, you know, kind of judge from there. And you just want to look a little bit of browning around the edges. I have taken these out of the oven, and the aroma that they impart in my house, oh my goodness, they are, I don't know what to say, but they are just barely cooling. And as you can see, I've cut one in half. I don't know where the other half went, but anyway, I'm going to give you guys a bit of a look. And these, you know, if you want them a little bit darker, mine went at 350 for 12 minutes. I'm still working on getting this oven figured out. I think I'm going to have to get a gauge for it, but here we go. It just comes right apart. These are very tender. Oh my goodness, they're so good. They're really good plain, but if I were to put them on like my sideboard, you know, what I've done is I've mixed some confectioner's sugar with just a couple of drops of vanilla extract and some coconut milk. And what I'm going to do, and you guys probably remember, I held a little toasted coconut off to the side. And what I'm going to do is, first I need to get rid of this. I think I'll just choose this one. What I'm going to do is, I'm not going to dunk it. I'm going to just trace it just along the edge here. And then I'm going to roll this. I think you guys can see, sorry. I'm going to roll this along the edge in the coconut and just plate it up. So that will give everyone an idea. Oh, okay, I see, there's coconut. I don't like coconut, or I madly love coconut. I must have it. Certainly you can do it if you have, you know, colored sugar. Dip it and, you know, sprinkle a little bit of sugar. And if you want to, this is pretty thick. You could probably get this and maybe, I'm not really sure if this is, you know, thin enough to drizzle. It might be. It might be just, oh yeah, it's thin enough to drizzle. And just a little bit of a drizzle. But I hope this inspires you. A huge thumbs up. These are so, so good. They're relatively easy. They freeze very, very well. As you guys know, I had a country inn, and not only did I do breakfast and dinners and cookies and different things as snacks in guest rooms, if it did not freeze well, then you know, I probably would not have included it in anything that I would have done for the end. So, you know, my criteria, if it freezes well, these will keep in, of course, a good container, an airtight container, for probably about a week. So a big, big thumbs up. I hope you give these a try, and I hope you join me here again, home at the Hollow. Bye, guys.